But like I said, a lot of people feel like Weldtec has the best lift kit, but at the end of the day, it's limited by the shock. Hi buddy. Here's some Fox 2.0 shocks, extended 16.5 inches, collapse 10.9, and there you go. Suspension travel is 5.6 inches. That's it. On my way to work, I've been seeing a lifted van parked off to the side this whole week. I'm gonna see if it's still there. And when I get off of work today, if it's still there, I'm gonna park on the side so we could take a look at it. That's how much I love this hobby. There it is. Been seeing it all week. Just got off of work and that van is still there. I already know what it is. It's a Weldtec. I could tell by looking at the I-beams. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. See, I know my vans. It's a Weldtec. This guy's gonna get out right now and say, "What are you doing to my van?" I just like it. Gotta give Weldtec their credit. They have the biggest lifted van channel on YouTube. This is my second van build, and I went with the Weldtec lift kit for this current van build. And I went with them because Jeremy can sell a ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves. Excellent marketing. My first impression when I picked up my van with the Weldtec lift is that it's a nice lift, but it didn't meet expectations. Didn't feel better than Action Van. All the hype it got, I was expecting it to be way better than Action Van. Feels about the same. And that's what I've always said about Action Van versus Weldtec. I don't feel like Weldtec is worth the extra money over Action Van. A few of you could vouch for me on this one. When you guys tell me you want a Weldtec lift, I never try to talk you out of getting a Weldtec lift. Weldtec sells an excellent product. And when you guys tell me you want a Weldtec, I say right on. Keep me updated on your van build. Overland Adventure. I've been friends with this guy for a couple years now, like 3 or 4 years. And he has a really nice van. And I know he's been wanting a Weldtec lift kit for a long time now. Last year he leaves me a comment on one of my Weldtec versus Action Van comparison videos, and he leaves a comment saying, "You're making Action Van look really tempting." And knowing he likes Weldtec, this is what I told him. I said, when you have the money saved up to get an Action Van, give Larry a call and see what happens from there. A couple of Sundays ago, I did a live stream, and Overland stops by in the live stream and he says, Action Van suspension's getting really tempting. And I told him the same thing. Once you have the funds saved up for an Action Van, give Larry a call. He posted this video yesterday as a teaser, lifted van at Overland Adventure. Here's his channel. He finally did it. He made the move. He went to Action Van suspension. Just got off of work. But yeah, he went to Action Van. He said it last year, Action Van's getting tempting. He went by my live stream a couple of Sundays ago. Said the same thing, Action Van's getting tempting. He stopped by Full Tilt Off-Road. I don't know how many days ago that was, but his van might be lifted by now as I make this video. But the thing is, when I saw him stop by, oh, and that's just AC. My van's not leaking coolant, that's just AC condensation. But when Overland stopped by the live stream and he told me Action Van's getting tempting, you know me guys, half of my friends have Weldtecs. Well, like 40% of my friends have Weldtecs, 40% have Action Vans, and the other 20% have a different van build, van brand, or a 4x4 conversion. But most of my friends have Weldtec or Action Van. I don't care what you guys have. I just want you guys to enjoy this hobby. Overland Adventure. He's someone I've been rooting for the last 3 or 4 years. I could see how much he loves his van, how many trips he goes on. And the thing with these lifted vans, you see it all the time. People will get into this hobby and a year later, they're gone. This guy has been around for the past couple years, and he's always, Overland, man, you're someone I've been rooting for. And you know this, man. Every time you talk about wanting a lifted van, I always leave you the same comment. I'm rooting for you, man. Don't care if you get an action van or a Weldtec. So my intention was actually to talk about that, because he says he's on the fence about Weldtec versus action van, and I'm going to make a more in-depth video about this. There's going to be some great content coming. There's a lot of ideas in my head, but I wanted to do this video and I'm gonna do it anyway. So he was on the fence about action van versus Weldtec. What does Weldtec do great? What's Weldtec great at? Advertising. They advertise their kit as a trophy truck kit. Like, you're gonna do some Baja jumps. It has the best articulation, right? That's what they like to advertise their kits as. The best articulation, the best suspension travel, just the best two-wheel drive kit on the market. Bent I-beams, whoop scissors. People like whoop scissors, I-beams. So that's what Weldtec does great. Great advertising. This is one of Weldtec's best marketing gimmicks they've done. They put their van on a forklift. They put one tire on a forklift, lift the van off of one wheel, and then they measure how much off the ground it is. They got 21 inches off the ground. Feel free to watch this video. If you watch this video, Jeremy's saying, look how much room is left in that fender gap. If only I could force the wheel in even more. If only I could get the shock to compress even more, because look at all that space left. Well, this is why it's stuck in this position. So Weldtec comes with Fox 2.0 shocks. You could also get Fox 2.0 shocks with Action Van. Bilstein 5100s are standard on Action Van, but you could also get the Fox 2.0s just like a Weldtec kit. See that silver right there? That's your suspension travel. Here's some Fox 2.0 shocks. Extended 16.5 inches, collapsed 10.9. And there you go, suspension travel is 5.6 inches. That's it. So that's why when Jeremy got this on a forklift, it only went so high before the tire wouldn't go up into the fender anymore. Because at the end of the day, you're limited by the shock. And that's where Jeremy has done a really good job with marketing his lift kit. He markets it like it's a long travel trophy truck suspension, and people buy into it. I bought into the hype. That's why I bought a Weldtec. I believed in the hype. Jeremy is an excellent marketer. Overland has been on the fence of getting an action van or a Weldtec for the past year. I don't know what swayed his decision towards action van. So Overland, let us know what swayed your decision to go with action van versus Weldtec. But like I said, a lot of people feel like Weldtec has the best lift kit, but at the end of the day, it's limited by the shock. Hi, buddy. Hi. I made a friend. So in the beginning of 2024, Action Van suspension was around 3,500 installed, and Weldtec is about 5,200 installed. I have a couple of friends that don't live in California who want to go with Action Van's Ultimate kit because Weldtec cost around $600 to ship and a $500 core charge. Action Van is only $300 to ship, and if you go with the Ultimate kit, that's Action Van's custom radius arm, there's no core charge. So I'm just making this video because since I saw Overland said he was on the fence, I was gonna make this video for him, but he already made the move. But he told me I should make this video anyway because my videos really influenced him to make the jump to Action Van. And like I said, I wonder what it was that made him go with Action Van versus Weldtec. But if you're on the fence between Action Van and Weldtec and you feel like you're getting the inferior product going with Action Van, That's why I wanted to bring up the shocks. At the end of the day, you're limited by the shock. So you could have all this room in the wheel gap, the wheel well, but it's only going to move as much as the shock allows. I see people do the forklift test on Jeeps all the time. So hats off to Jeremy for doing the flex test on a Ford Econoline van with his lift kit. Great marketing gimmick. Let me know in the comment section, do you want to see this done with an action van, lifted van? And if the tire is every bit as high as Weldtec, will that sway your decision to go with action van? Jeremy likes to market Weldtec as the best two-wheel drive lift kit on the market. So let me know, do you want to see that test done to an action van?